Hey everyone, here is a look at reimagining a chord voicing, and I'm going to take a fragment for a chord voicing you know and show you a cool way to realize it in a different position. Alright, so I'm going to take this fragment right here on the 9th fret. This is basically, I look at this as a G7 sharp 9 without the root. You could use it for D flat because they're related, but we're just going to stick right now for the G purposes. And if I take the notes out of there, I find that I've got here, I've got a B, I've got an F, and I've got a B flat. So now I know that I have an open B string right there. So what I'm going to try to do is figure out where I can play the B flat and the B together like this. I'm going to take the note, the F, and play it here. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but I'm going to play it like this. So you're going to have this open B string and the B flat, and check out how it sounds. It's the same as this. There's nothing different. A piano player would play those notes the same way on the piano, but we can do this. And what's cool about it is it gives me a new perspective, because if I was to do this, I can easily go to this shape here. And what this shape is here for my G7 is a G7 flat 5. So I'm actually going from a G7 sharp 9 to a G7 flat 5. It's a nice sound. It's a very dissonant sound, but it's cool because if I'm trying to play in my dominant 7 world and I've got maybe just like a tune where I've got just a pedal G, so what I did in the end is I went up here and I raised that D flat to D, which this is a D minor chord, but it's also G9. So here's the G. Look at this, a G7 flat 5, some kind of altered dominant, and of course I've got this chord here, which is great. Now there's many more to discover, but I wanted just to show this one. If you find a place where you've got open strings, and I've talked about using open strings in previous videos, it's so important because by changing up the way I play that chord, my fingers are kind of in a different position, but it gives me the opportunity to see the neck in a totally different way, and it inspires me to play different stuff. Here's one more to reimagine. So if I took this chord shape here, which is a B flat 7 sharp 5, and I put the flat 9 on top, I see that I have a B minor triad, or B. And that's a common voicing, but if I reimagine where I can play that minor triad, let's do it down here. Here's a B minor, it's a regular standard bar chord, and if I take the B flat and move it down a half step, I have this, and I add the E on top, which is the flat 5. It sounds like a really strange chord. How would it fit in my blues? But here's the context where I can make it work. And what I did there is I just used that voicing for this kind of B11 sound, and then I went up a half step, and I grabbed that E, outline the chord shape, and what connects that is the fact that I'm going from that B minor to a C minor with this D flat in the bass, because that's actually my E flat 13. So again, it's not the chord itself, it's what you do prior to the chord and what you do after the chord that makes it fit in the context. This is a hard one to do, but I came up with this just recently showing a student, and I was like, wow, I can make this work. So I'm going to try to incorporate it in my vocabulary. It's not something I can do on the fly very easily because it's a little cumbersome, but it's a good example of that. So I encourage you to check it out.